We are creating an outline or a lesson plan to follow in reading The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. If I gave you a copy of this book and I asked you to read it cover to cover, would you get value? Yes. Say yes. Yes. And it dawned on me as I was preparing for one of these calls last week that I could create an outline that I could give to you along with handing you this book, that if you were new to real estate or you've been in the business a while and you are ready to take your business to the next level, this would be how I would recommend you read the book in order to build a career worth having, create a career worth having, and to build a business worth owning. Our mission statement, right? And let's review. We started with Think Powered by a Big Why, and that's on pages 72 through 77. Think Big Goals, Big Models, and that's pages 78 through 80. And every day I'm going to review, and I'm going quickly because this is day 4. So you've already written this down a couple times, and if you're new to the call, you have it, and that's one of the reasons I'm reviewing. Number 3 is Think Possibilities, which is pages 81 through 84. 4, the 6 myth understandings between you and high achievement, pages 47 through 63. 5, the 4 stages of the MREA model, pages 65 through 70. 6, the 80-20 rule, pages 97 through 98. 7, leads, listings, and leverage, the foundational model of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the 3 L's of the MREA, and that's pages 99 through 107. And then on our last call, we got into the 4 models of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Model number 1, the economic model, pages 129 to 132. And model number 2, number 9 on our list, is the lead generation model, pages 133 through 151. Now, Madeline, I asked, can I have a conversation with you real quick? Sure. Yeah, right, good. So one of the questions that I asked you, because you and I met a couple of weeks ago now, and you're new to real estate and started with another company. We're not mentioning who they are. And one of your comments to me was, I'm not getting what I need. And my response was, tell me what that means. And your response was, I just need somebody to point me in the right direction. In other words, I need a blueprint for success. Now, are we creating a blueprint for success in this millionaire real estate exercise?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Is this what you were looking for?
100%.
Okay, good. So then there's value in what we're doing. We'll keep doing it. Okay, cool, because I was going to stop otherwise. All right, now here's my thoughts as I'm preparing for this morning for this call, because I was ready to move on to the next conversation, which would be the organizational model, by the way. And that would have been a mistake. Lead generation is so important that we might just sit on this model for the rest of the year. How do you feel about that? Are you going to get bored?
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. And if you do, one of the things that I heard Gary Keller say a long time ago, and I agree, is success is boring. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have fun, because I'm going to tell you to treat your business like a game and play. Go to play. Don't go to work. Go to play. Have fun. Gamify your real estate business. Lead generation is a blast. It blows me away when I hear people talk about not liking lead generation. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I absolutely love lead generation. Now, what Gary's talking about when he says success is boring is people like to add creativity to the model versus following the basics. You'll hear people say things like, I've learned or I've decided, or one of my ahas is I need to get back to the basics. Now, my response to them would be, why did you ever leave them? If you're playing football, here we go. It took 10 minutes for me to get football in the conversation. If you're playing football, I know, right? I'm really restraining myself. The first week of practice, I don't care if you're little league, high school, college, or the NFL. The first week of practice is here's how you get in a stance. Here's how you block. Here's how you tackle. Right, Shirley? Absolutely. Now, so here's how you get in a stance. Here's how you block. Here's how you tackle in your real estate business. See, I play the sport of real estate. I'm a jock, always have been, always will be. It's just today, my sport is real estate. And what's blocking and tackling in real estate? Well, it's lead generation. So we might just park on this for the rest of the year. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but for today, we will. All right, I'm on page 133, top of the page, 3 lines down. Once you know how many appointments you must have, you now have to generate the leads necessary to generate those appointments. What model tells us how many appointments we have to go on? Just shout it out if you know the answer. The economic model. Shirley's my new favorite. The economic model. The economic model ends with how many appointments you need in order to take the number of listings you need, in order to close the number of sales you need to close, in order to gross what you need to gross, in order to net your goal, appointments. And Gary says, once you know how many appointments you must have, you now have to generate the leads necessary to generate those appointments. Leads are fuel to your economic engine. Leads are fuel to your economic engine. You can never have enough leads. What's interesting about that is most real estate agents will lead generate until they get appointments that lead to listings, that lead to contracts. And then they take their foot off the lead generation pedal and they start to coast their real estate business. And what happens is those listings go under contract, those contracts close, and then they look up and say, I don't have any business. Time to turn on my lead generation machine again. Never turn it off. You can never have enough leads. In the positioning battle, Gary talks about creating top of mind. In other words, be the Diet Coke of real estate. If you were to ask me, John, name a soda, my answer would be Diet Coke. And if you said, name another soda, my answer would be Diet Coke. There's only one. Yeah, I know it's not good for me. That's not the conversation. And if I ask one of your friends, Shirley, do you know a good real estate agent? I better hear.
Absolutely, Shirley Robinson.
You got it, girl. You got it. And if I don't hear that, don't forget, is a script. All right, go to page 135, playing the numbers game. This is huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down, far right-hand side. High conversion rates will allow you to generate the same income from fewer leads than if you had lower conversion rates. Cool. How do we improve our conversion rates?
In my margin, I have mastered the conversation of real estate.
Yes. Shirley's my new favorite. Clarissa, it lasted a whole minute.
Actually, John, you said Shirley when we knew you meant Clarissa before. I was just going to own it.
Thank you, Shirley. I was gonna let you own it too.
You caught me on that.
I didn't say it.
Ah,
He actually did say something. He says, oh, now your name is Shirley.
all right, moving on. You guys be quiet. Lower conversion rates can be just as effective if you can amass a great number of leads. Higher conversion rates will allow you to close more business from fewer leads. However, on the path to mastering the conversations of real estate, in order to master your conversion rates, the solution is in how many leads you get. Get more listings. So while your conversion rates are very important, the number of leads you must generate is even more critical. The octane of your fuel is irrelevant if you don't have enough to get you to your destination. The octane of your fuel is irrelevant if you don't have enough to get you to your destination. Highly successful real estate agents will tell you that as far as lead generation is concerned, the quality is in the quantity. Whereas most real estate agents do modest lead generation and get modest results, a few do massive lead generation and reap massive rewards. All right, page 136, and then we're going to go to the whiteboard. For effective lead generation, you need to be systematic and go for sheer volume. Your lead generation plan must always be more ambitious than your income goals. Emerson was right when he said that you aim above the target in order to hit the target. Now, what does this look like? Cool, let's talk about that. All right. So let's start with, I'm going to work 50 weeks. I'm going to take 2 weeks vacation. I'm going to work 5 days a week, which means I have 250 work days. You guys can stop me at any time I make a mistake, right? And what is work? What is work? Work is 20 conversations. Not 19, not 18, not 17, because when I have 17 conversations, I didn't have the 18th conversation, which could have been $1 million listing that I didn't get. And the worst part about that is I don't even know that I missed the opportunity because I didn't have the conversation. Now I'm focusing on 3 buckets of lead generation. The first bucket I'm focused on is repeat and referral business, which means I'm focused on my database. In Gary's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, he tells us to build a database, to feed it every day, to communicate with it in a systematic way. Now, build a database means that I'm going to put everybody that I know in this database. So if I have 100 contacts in my phone who I know, and they know me, they like me, and if they were going to buy or sell a home, they would either work with me or refer business to me. That's the definition of your sphere of influence. And if you have 100 contacts in your phone that meet that description, are they in command? It's just yes or no. Yeah. Okay, and I'm getting lots of yeses in the room, which I love. And I met with an agent yesterday, 2 days ago, and I asked her, how many people do you have in your sphere of influence? Oh, I have 300. She was so excited. And I said, how many of them are in command? 30. Right? That's common. That happens a lot. And get them in your database so that you can communicate with them in a systematic way. If they're just in your cell phone or if they live on a spreadsheet, you don't have a system to communicate with them, you're not going to effectively communicate with them over time in order to earn the opportunity to be their realtor or to get referrals. So build a database. I'm going to add those 100 people to my database. Now, feed it every day simply means I have this large group of people out here called haven't mets. In other words, the world. The person that's standing in front of you at Publix is a haven't met. When you're knocking on doors, until that person opens the door, Karen, you haven't met them. And feed your database every day means add new contacts, new leads to your database. Now, my standard is +1 a day. In other words, over the next 12 months, I'm going to add 250 new Mets to my database. Good morning, Wendy. Build a database, feed it every day. So over the next year, I'm going to add 250 people to my database. Now that conversation can go a lot of different ways, but for me, it's pretty simple. It's, hey, Wendy, my name is John Dietz. I'm a real estate agent and I with Keller Williams Realty, and I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. All that means is I send them interesting information on the real estate market once a month, and I call every 3 or 4 months just to check in. Would it be okay if I added you to that group? Sure. Wendy says, yes, success. Wendy says, no, cool. Hi, my name's John Dietz. Can I ask your name? Clarissa. It's Clarissa, not Shirley. And Clarissa, nice to meet you. By the way, I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty, and I like to keep, okay, so you know the script. I'm going to add one person to my database every single day, and it's one of these 20 conversations that's generating that new add to my database. Now, the third part of this is communicate in a systematic way. For new Mets, that's an 8x8. And all of these tools that I'm teaching you live inside a command. And an 8x8 simply means that I'm going to communicate with you once a week for 8 weeks in order to create top of mind, in order to become Diet Coke, so that when you think of real estate, you think of me. Now, in the 8th week, I'm going to call and I'm going to say, hey, Karen, John Dietz, following up as promised. Thank you for taking my call. And hey, before I go, just a quick question. If you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home or sell a home, would you consider referring them to me?
I would consider it.
Awesome. Now, Karen moves from a new Met into my sphere of influence because now she has potential to be someone who will work with me, or she has potential to refer business to me. Now, really pay attention to the words because words matter. If I said, hey, Jonathan, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty, following up as promised. Thank you for taking my call. And before I go, quick question. If you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home or sell a home, would you refer them to me? Different question. Jonathan's response might be, I don't know. I have other friends that are real estate agents. I'm not sure I would refer them to you. Now, I want to hear yes. I don't want to hear I don't know, and I don't want to hear no. So the question is, would you consider referring them to me? Is it possible that you might refer them to me? You see, I want to earn the opportunity to be your realtor. You might say, I've already got a real estate agent. That's awesome. I would still love to stay in touch with you. I would still love to provide you with value. And hopefully over time, I would earn the opportunity to be your realtor. Would that be okay? Now, if they say yes, cool. They move to your sphere of influence. If they say no, you can either take them out of your database or you can put them on a 12-touch campaign, which means you're communicating with them once a month because they could change their mind. Or they can make a new decision based on new information. How are we doing so far? Okay.
Great.
Madeline, we doing good?
Great.
Is this a good blueprint?
It's awesome.
It's good. Okay, very good. Now, the other thing that I'm going to focus on, well, you know what? Let me finish. Once they're in my sphere of influence, I'm going to communicate with them in a systematic way using a 36 touch. That also lives inside a command. And that simply means that you're going to communicate with everybody that's in your database 36 times a year. It's overkill over time. Now, for those of you who feel that this is too much, how many times a year does Amazon communicate with you? Every day. Every day, maybe a couple times a day. And if you're providing value, and one of those touches, 2 of those touches every month, you have 24 touches could be the neighborhood nurture. That's one of the smart plans that lives inside of Command, is neighborhood nurture twice a month. And that is tremendous value because that is a customized website for their neighborhood. Now, when they get that, they can add other neighborhoods. So if they want to watch what's going on in Parkland Golf and Country Club, for example, they can add that as a neighborhood that they're watching, they're paying attention to. They're seeing if there's any new listings, any new contracts, what's closing. It's the Amazon of real estate, and it's using data and artificial intelligence in order to provide them with a better experience. It's also using data and artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, to provide you with information on who in your database is most likely to move in the next 12 months. Right? You know what? I'm going to pause for just a moment because I really want to hammer this home. So if you read The Platform Revolution, I knew it would come to me. If you read The Platform Revolution, wow, what an amazing book. And The Platform Revolution is all about talking about the 4th Industrial Revolution that we're in right now. And the idea behind the 4th Industrial Revolution is we're moving to platform-driven businesses versus pipeline-driven businesses. Just looked at the clock. So we're going to close with this and pick up where we left off today, tomorrow. A platform-driven business is Amazon. A pipeline-driven business is Sears. How's Sears doing?
Not good.
Not so good. A platform-driven business is Netflix. A pipeline-driven business is Blockbuster. How's Blockbuster doing? Not so good. And the whole idea behind a platform is you've got one site where all of your technology tools live. It's like the apps that are on your phone. They're all in one location. And all of these different technology tools communicate with one another. It's being driven by data and artificial intelligence, and it creates predictive analytics. And in this book, the author tells a story about a man who was mad. He was angry. Boy, he was on tilt. Here's why he was angry. Because his teenage daughter had gotten an email from Target selling products for someone who is pregnant. He contacts the manager at Target and says, what in the world? Why are you reaching out to my teenage daughter selling products for someone who is pregnant? The manager responds with, I am so sorry. Let me look into our computer. Let me look at our database and I'll get back to you. So the manager gets back to this man and he says, based on the products that your daughter has bought over the last 3 months, there's a 97% chance she's pregnant.
Oh, wow.
She was.
Wow.
Target knew it before her father knew it.
Jeez.
Predictive analytics. Now, I'm not telling that story because it's a good story, because it's not. I'm telling that story because what if Command could tell you, Clarissa, not Shirley, Aaron, who is in your database, based on the properties that he's looked at, based on what he's looked at on the internet, what he's looked at on your website over the last 3 months, based on predictive analytics, there's a 98% chance that he's going to sell his home in the next 90 days. You should call him.
Right.
What if it did that? Well, it will. You see, guys, the real estate industry is going through massive disruption. And the industry that you see today will not be the real estate industry you see a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It's going to be very, very different. This is just a bold prediction. I put this on Facebook, by the way, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, so don't hear anything I'm not saying. There will be fewer real estate companies, much fewer. Much fewer. How many phone companies existed? How many companies existed that sold phones prior to the iPhone? Can you name how many there were? I mean, I can name two. The Razor. I don't know, remember who made that, and BlackBerry, the Palm Pilot. How many different Nokia? How many different manufacturers were there selling phones prior to the first iPhone? How many are there today? Now there's more than two, but two have 99% of the market share. 99%. iPhone, Android. And when you go through major disruption in any industry, 2, maybe 3 companies come out the other end and survive. Everybody else goes away. The same thing will happen in the real estate business. It's a bold prediction. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I don't think I am. Now, there will also be fewer real estate agents, much fewer. And commissions are going to be cut by a lot. What if you woke up tomorrow and your commissions were cut by 50%? Go back to the economic model. What would you have to do in order to hit your goals? Would you have to sell more homes? And here's the really cool part about this. So now the good news. The agents who are in business 2-3 years from now are going to sell more homes. They're going to sell a lot more homes in less time because technology is going to make your job more efficient, more effective. You're not going to make as much money per deal, but overall, you'll make a lot more money because there's going to be fewer agents. Now, will there be fewer homes being sold? We'll say no, that's not possible. People always move. Even in bad markets, people move. Always. 5.2 million people moved in 2020. That number will be bigger in 2021. Now imagine if the same number of homes were being sold and half the real estate agents are still in business. Hey, here's the good news for all of you who are silently freaking out on the inside. Who makes it out on the other side? Well, 2-3 companies. And I can tell you already that Keller Williams is one of those companies. Why? Because we're the only real estate company that has a platform that is built for the new real estate industry. The only company. By the way, Gary Keller and the tech team at Keller Williams Realty went to Google. Google is partners with us in creating this platform. And they asked, how long would it take our competition to duplicate what we have? Their answer was 4 years. Now, if you're paying attention, other companies are starting to go on this journey. But here's the thing. Keller Williams started this journey back in 2016. We introduced Command in 2019. Now, this is 2019, and other companies are starting to create their own platforms. All good. It's 4 years from now, 2023. 4 years from now, those companies will be here. Keller Williams will be here. Because are we going to stop innovating our technology? Are we going to stop updating our technology? How many of you bought an iPhone the first year they came out? Anybody? So MREA, does the iPhone, I think that was 2009. Does the iPhone today look anything like the iPhone in 2019? The iPhone in 2019 basically sucked. A lot of people got in line to take it back, right? And today you won't go anywhere without it. There is no catch up. I mean, if you're taking notes, I would write that down. There is no catch up. You can't catch up with us. It's not possible. Here's the other thing. What drives technology? Data. And unless you're a company that has been collecting data for the last 30 years, you're driving a technology platform with no data. Now, a technology platform with no data would be like Netflix with one movie on it. How many of you would pay whatever you pay every month to Netflix if there was one movie, right? Groundhog Day. I mean, you can go on Netflix every single day and watch Groundhog Day again, right? Yeah, nobody's buying, right? Amazon, if they still just sold books, that's how they started. How many of you would go on Amazon to buy everything you need in your house? Nobody. I mean, Amazon knows you need paper towels before you know you need paper towels. Is Amazon the same company today they were a year ago? Say no. They're not. They're changing every day. And can anybody catch up with them? Say no. They can't. No. Is Sears ever going to open up their store again? Say no. So you've seen a lot of posts on Facebook about Airbnbs. I mean, that's like the new hot craze, right? So did you know Airbnbs are a platform?
Yes.
They are. And do you know what the Airbnb advantage is over the hotel industry? Yep. If Marriott decided that they want to put a new that's funny, a new hotel on the beach, they'd have to research property that's available. They'd have to go through getting permission from the city, permission from the county, rezoning. They'd have to go through planning, blueprints. They would engineering. They would have to, how many years would it take them to build and money to invest in doing that? And how many years would it take them to build that hotel? Let's just say from idea to completion is 5 years, and it's longer than that. Airbnb could open 100 new Airbnb sites in Fort Lauderdale in a day.
6 months.
Who has the advantage, Airbnb or the hotel industry? Yeah. Did you know Uber is a platform?
Yep.
What is Uber doing to the taxi industry?
Oh, killed it.
The same thing is happening in your business. Pay attention. Now, real estate agents who say, I'm not worried about this because my customers are loyal to me and they're always going to be working with me, that's called denial. It's not true. I'm sure Blockbuster thought the same thing. I'm sure BlackBerry thought the same thing. BlackBerry went from 90% market share to 2% in less than 12 months. All those people that were in love with their BlackBerry didn't care so much. All right. Talk to me. What'd you hear?
Well, I'm not too sure I want the new iPhone because maybe they lose their market share within 12 months and it's a bad investment.
So funny, Brian.
Brian, go away. I love you. Vicki, talk to us.
Well, I can tell you this, I have been working from the outside in. And how that is that I've been door knocking and, making phone calls, but I haven't been working on my inner sphere. And my inner sphere, I have to start calling all of them and putting them into command. I mean, this is my huge aha. I noticed it yesterday, when I was at Bold, but today is even more so. So, yeah.
Love it, Vicki. Love it, Vicki. Hey, by the way, Bitcoin is a platform.
Yep.
Bitcoin, if you can see my phone, $55,189 and I just went up, $192.10 per share.
Yeah.
It was $100 a share at one point. $100. $100. $100. If you bought one share for $100, it would be worth, it just went up again. 55,203.19. Just went down by 6 cents. Now it's 13. Shirley, talk to us.
I'm thinking more so for us that are with Keller Williams and not using command. So even just with yesterday at Bold to see how many agents, like agents 2 weeks in the business and they're at Bold. And if I just continue to use the command system, put people in my database, put them on a smart plan, my colleagues that have chosen to continue on their spreadsheet or whatever, I'm going to get their clients.
There you go, girl.
It ties in with who moved my cheese if you're not willing to move with the times.
Mhm.
If 182,000 Keller Williams agents, 182 times 200, if 182,000 Keller Williams agents would share their consumer app with just 200 people each, you would put Keller Williams consumer app in the hands of 36,400,000 people. This is why you don't see Keller Williams advertising their consumer app on TV. Because we have an army that can spread that platform. You see Redfin on TV every single day promoting their consumer app. But here's the thing, Shirley nailed it. 182,000 agents are not sharing their Keller Williams consumer app with everybody they know. Guys, you could put the competition out of business. I mean, we haven't even talked about how powerful Keller Mortgage is in running your real estate business. I mean, you want to get offers accepted? Use Keller Mortgage save your client a boatload of money and use that money to get your deal accepted over somebody else's. Diane,
Okay, so I'm gonna,
lots of hands, so we're just gonna keep going.
so, for me, it's nothing new for me, but, the fact that by really learning everything in terms of command and learning the technology and being on the forefront of this technology, it's like, we're gonna survive that, whatever happens, that, I don't wanna call it a war, I wanna call it a revolution, let's say.
It's disruption.
A disruption, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm actually excited about that because
Me
I'm
too.
gonna be prepared to handle it.
Yeah,
So.
me too. Here's another book you should read. We're not playing a game to win. We're playing a game to stay in the game. We're playing a game to stay in the game. We're not playing a game to win. You see, your competition is playing a game to win. You're playing to stay in the game. Microsoft was trying to beat Apple. Apple was trying to beat themselves. Remember the Zune? The Zune was Microsoft's version of the iPod. How many of you had an iPod? Remember those things? Me too. I thought it was so cool. Downloaded all those songs. Oh yeah. And then Microsoft came out with their version. It was called the Zune. It was actually better, right? Simon Sinek tells a story in this book about that. And he speaks at an Apple convention, and then he also speaks at a Microsoft convention. And he's in a car on his way to the airport with the CEO of Apple after speaking. And he said, you know, I spoke for Microsoft and they gave me their new product, the Zune, and it's actually a lot better than your iPod. You know what the CEO of Apple said? I'm sure it is. Now, what he didn't tell them is they were a year away from introducing the iPhone. The iPhone put the iPad or the iPod out of business. They knew that. They were in business to beat themselves. They weren't competing with Microsoft. They were competing with themselves. They were in business to stay in business. Microsoft was trying to win a race that they were the only person in the race. Apple didn't play. Laura, I'm coming to you. I just want you to get a couple people on Zoom. Laura, talk to me.
I think that when we pull this is absolutely positive. We just have to go inside and we just have to follow the road. And, you know, less people need less competition.
Laura, you waited to talk. And you're freezing. I don't know if it's your signal or mine, and I know it's super important. Start over.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was going to say, what you said is I'm looking at it from a positive perspective. Less people means less competition, means more for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn how to use, when you were talking, I was thinking of Redfin. I was thinking of realtor.com. These are the AI platforms that people are going to after work with, you know, they eat dinner, sit next to their husband. Oh, baby, let's look and see what houses are for sale. Maybe we'll move. The market's hot, let's move. So we have to harness that and use that for us. Instead of making it a competition, make it a partnership.
There you go. Good job. Good job. Guys, I'm sorry. It's my signal that's bad. I don't know why all of a sudden it did that. Diane, and then we're gonna close. You did. Oh, there you go. Clarissa, not Shirley.
Simon Sinek, also in his book, Your Big Why,
Mm.
also tells about that Microsoft and
Mhm.
Apple story, but it goes back to when Apple first created their computer.
Mm.
It was all about the why they created it.
Mm.
they created because they wanted to bring big technology into the average home.
Yep.
They knew that if they could get average people to buy their product, that it would be revolutionary. So that's what that little Apple, that first little box Apple computer was. Their why was to bring technology into homes, whereas Microsoft, Dell, all of those computer companies back then, they just wanted to keep it in big business and make a profit.
Yep.
So that's a part of that story. But I wanted to say, you talked about it yesterday at Bold, and you just spoke about it here. Foundation, going back to the basics. We talked about football. What is that basic foundational move in football? Flint talked about baseball. What is that basic foundation in baseball? You start out with T-ball. You always go back to the T.
Yep.
You always go back to foundation. And what is that foundation for us? It's all about leads.
Yeah, it is.
Bottom line, no
Yep.
matter how you look at it, it's all about leads.
Yep. Good job. Great job. Did you guys get value today?
Yep.
2 people did. Awesome. Brian, did you get your money's worth?
We get value
Absolutely.
every day.
Cool. Yeah, because it was free, right? How many of you would show up if you actually had to spend money to be here? Don't answer that question. All right, time to get to work. What is work? Work is 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17 conversations, because when I have 17 conversations, I didn't have the 18th conversation, which could have been $1 million listing that I didn't get because I didn't have the conversation. It's just that simple. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to go off script here for a moment. At today's team meeting in Coral Springs, we're going to look at the LORE report, Language of Real Estate, for the month of September. And then we're going to have a conversation on listings taken. Imagine that. And my question is, if we had an office of 334 agents, that's our count, who may hit their standard every day for lead generation, whatever their standard is, right, Shirley? Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, maybe it is 20, maybe it's 40. And if we had a market center of 334 agents who hit their standard every single day for lead generation, what do you think would happen to Keller Williams Coral Springs market share in the Coral Springs Parkland market? Is it going up? Is it staying the same? Is it going down? It's going way, way, way up. It's a choice. You either choose to do it or you settle for mediocrity. All right, make care calls, not sale calls. Have care call conversations, not sale call conversations. Always lead with gratitude. Thank you for taking my call. Bring value to every single conversation. Focus on getting an appointment, getting a referral, adding somebody to your database and building a relationship. Find somebody today that is thinking of selling their home. What if everybody did that? Every day, 250 days a year. And then you filled your pipeline with 250 opportunities that you followed up with forever because you reject rejection. No is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No simply means not yet. You know, I got a call from somebody yesterday telling me that they were concerned about an agent who was ready to give up. Vicky's here. And my immediate thought was, I hope they don't. Success is guaranteed if they don't. And why do we give up? Because we're not hitting our goals. It leads to frustration, which leads to resignation, which leads to looking for greener pastures or just giving up. And if everyone would just simply follow what is work and they never gave up, they would be massively successful. You know, when you follow up forever, you create emotional proximity. Emotional proximity simply means that I'm going to hire the person who's closest to me when I get serious about buying a home or selling a home. And remember, people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. And when you follow up forever, going to you, Vicki, when you follow up forever and you create emotional proximity and that seller makes a new decision based on new information, that new decision is going to be to
Hire me.
there you go. Very good. All right, everybody, make it a great day. You know, I've got 9:55. This call went way over. I hope you're okay with that. I hope you got great value today. We're not going to go right into script practice. Sorry, it's team meeting day and we need to flip the room in order to get ready for our team meeting. We'll pick up the conversation tomorrow morning and everyone make it a great day.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.